Come on in and sit right down, 'cause you're welcome here. Come on in and sit right down, 'cause you're welcome here. Look around, you will see friendly faces smiling free. Spirits, love and family, make yourself at home. Raise your voice in a joyful noise, 'cause you're welcome here. Raise your voice in a joyful noise, 'cause you're welcome here. This bright morning filled with song, raise your voice and sing along. Uplift for the whole day long, make yourself at home. Feel the love with open arms, 'cause you're welcome here. Feel the love with open arms, 'cause you're welcome here. Welcome, welcome, and the love pours in. Today will never happen again. Leave only the happiness you bring. Make yourself at home. So I invite you, church, to take a moment and look around, see your friends, make some connection. Yeah. Come on in and sit right down, 'cause you're welcome here. Come on in and sit right down, 'cause you're welcome here. Look around, you will see friendly voices smiling free. Spirits, love and family, make yourself at home. Make yourself at home. Yeah, make yourself at home.
All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Did you guys have one more? No? Just the two? Perfect. All over again. Encore. Hello, good morning, Unity community. Welcome into our center, especially if this is the first time you are here today. We warmly welcome all people, all faiths, and all lifestyles. And today we do stand upon the unceded ancestral lands of the Musqueam Nation, noble guardians of these lands since time immemorial. It is here that we get to gather, we get to learn, and we get to grow, to celebrate our oneness with Spirit. And if you're joining us here on Zoom or YouTube, welcome. Our mission here at Unity is simple: to build personal and community well-being through universal spiritual teachings and practices. So let's get into it. Please now join me in our opening invocation. All together now. There is one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. And now please rise and join us in singing this morning's group song, Spirit of the Living God.
Spirit of the living God,
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So today, Unity's daily word is illumination. I walk with faith along the path of light. When someone gets a flash of insight or makes a sudden realization, it is often said that a light bulb has gone off. It is no surprise that growing in understanding is likened to light, which brings brightness and clarity to what was once obscured by darkness. I am grateful for the illumination I have received as I travel the divine path. My spiritual growth may not always be easy, and I will never stop learning and discovering. But there is such value in the journey itself. Those moments I feel newly close to God. Those times when the divine within helps me make a better choice. And those precious flashes of pure love and light. I welcome my ongoing illumination, knowing the light I seek is already within me. Our guest speaker today is Reverend Marilyn Knipp. And the K is not silent. And she will be sharing some thoughts about our inner landscape and spiritual truth. Now, let's warmly open ourselves to receive what we need most from today's message with these 5 powerful affirmations. All together now. I cultivate thoughts that reflect peace and divine order. I release limitation and affirm the infinite within me. As my mind is renewed, my life reveals new possibilities. I see my life through the lens of truth and wholeness. My inner dialogue now supports healing and growth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. And now, please rise and join me in singing our new English translation of the Aramaic version of the Lord's Prayer.
Holy Spirit, creator of life and all, you create a space inside us and fill it with your presence. Our oneness now prevails. Your one desire flows through ours as energy fills all forms. You give us this day our physical and spiritual nourishment. You untangle the knots of bear that bind us as we also release each other. We don't let appearances make us forgetful of our source. We're born free to act from our highest nature. From your presence comes the glorious harmonies of life. Now these words are fertile ground from which our future grows.
Thank you. You do that so beautifully, you two. Thank you so much. So it's my pleasure to introduce Reverend Marilyn Knipp. Marilyn is a longtime ordained minister of the Celebration of Life Centers. She's been a minister in Battle Creek, Washington, and Vancouver, along with a couple more places. You've been all over, thank you. Although retired from full-time ministry, she still does memorials, weddings, and family celebrations. Please join me in giving a warm unity welcome to Reverend Marilyn Knipp.
Thank you. Wow, what an honor it is to be here wow, I have had such a good time already this morning. And I haven't done anything like this for, I don't know, a long time. Oh my gosh, brings back many memories, and it's wonderful to see those of you who I've met before and those who I will have the privilege of meeting today as well. You know, Janet Law, who books speakers here, among many, many things, she's called me a couple of times and said, hey, Marilyn, can I put you down for speaking? And I flat out said, I am retired. You know, and I owe Janet an apology. I'm not sure she's here. Because I think the last time she called, I didn't even return her call. Get it, Janet? Retired, you know. But it was me then that reached out to her, and I said, hey, Janet, just in case you need someone some Sunday, I have something I want to say now. And, you know, I've been through a big drama, what shall I say? A big drama. And as a minister, I've been a minister for so long, but it was so hard to speak in the midst of a big drama, you know, and say all this positive stuff when you're dying at home, you know. And so, but I wanted to share what I've been through because I've had an experiment and experience myself in using spiritual principles. Oh my God. I've only been a minister for, I think, 40 years, and I'm just getting around to this. But I mean, I have been through it. What happened to me, and I'm hoping that my sharing my story is going to add, you know, another foundation to what you already know. You guys already know this stuff anyway, but, you know, we say all the affirmations and everything. But I wanted to prove, does this really work or does it not? So June 12th, 2024, that was 20 months ago, most of you know I lived in a floating home in Ladner, and I love that style of living. It's just, you know, offbeat enough that it satisfies me. And what I've always loved is living right on the water, where outside my front room window, the ducks and the geese went by, and there was an eagle's nest up here and everything. It was my style of living. And, you know, I have been through a lot hanging on to that piece of property. I have been sued over that piece of property. I have been, you know, what it is, and I say, listen, I'm not leaving. You know, and what are they going to do with someone like me? I'm just not going. Well, here we go. The famous day, June 12th, 2024, 20 months ago, or it's about 20 months from now or so, I was coming to get to my float home. I had to walk by the person that owned the property because he lived on the land, and to get to the float home, and he said, Marilyn, I think I've got some news which isn't too good today. And he said, you, because of a new government regulation, love that, government regulation, have to no longer live here after February of 2026. And I went, well, isn't this interesting? You know, I've fought people over staying there, but I've never fought the government. You know what I mean? And so, well, I counted it up, and I thought, well, golly, I got 20 months or so. What is the big deal here? Something's going to happen. And somehow in that time, I thought, well, what a place to practice what I've been preaching for these 30 years. Isn't that interesting? You know, so I went, but I got a lot of time. You know, I'll think about this tomorrow, and I'll turn on the television or whatever I was into and just not think about it. So as I thought about it logically, I thought, well, I'm not sure how to get around this one. I talked to the MLA. I talked to the Office of Land Management, Land and Water Management, and they kept changing the people that were in charge, and I was really getting nowhere there. So I thought, well, if I've got to move, so the deal meant that I had to move my house, because I own the house. I had to move my house somewhere else. And I go, okay, well, I've been around enough. I know a lot about float home living. Well, because of the government regulations and all kinds of things, the mortgage ideas had tightened a lot. So I got a list of all the marinas. I talked to all of them. One marina where I thought I'd be perfect. I know the people down there. My house fits, blah, blah, blah. I went down every week and talked to the person that was in charge every week, and I was down to baking cookies to take to him. And then I found out from his secretary, he's a diabetic. We'll do him in, won't we? So I did those things, but I also, more than anything, was thinking about a quote that I had memorized so long ago, and it said, now get this, so I'm in this bit of a mess, and it said, there is a power within you that is greater than anything that can ever come your way. And I went, I wonder if they were talking about the government there. There is a power within me that is greater than any influence outside of me. There is a power within me. And I go, okay, so what do I do now? I knew the first step, because I taught this stuff. Geez, I knew the first step was to figure out what it is I wanted. What was the end result? Where was I going? Where was I going? So I thought, and to make it positive, to make it now. You guys have all been through affirmations, you know this. So I thought, so my affirmation is, I live in a place I love. I live in a place I love. I live in a place I love. No big deal. So I went about, all the phoning marinas and all that stuff to see where I could move my house. I live in a place I love. Let me tell you, some of the float home marinas, the one especially that said they might have room for me, I looked at it and I thought, could I love this place? I don't think so. I don't think so. And they were the ones that were most encouraging. Oh, yeah, we can move some float homes around and we can put you here and blah, blah, blah. My view would have been the butt end of the float home in front of me and the one behind me and the ones on the side. And I don't think this is what I'm about at all. So I said no there. Okay, there's a power in me that's greater than any of this. And then some of my unity and, teachings came back to me, and what I learned is to use my mind and think only, and I put only in big letters, only thoughts about what I want to happen, what I want to manifest. Now that was tough. Use my mind and think only about what I wanted. For me, and I don't know if it's true for you, the 2 a.m. things. Can anybody relate to this? It's like the worst of all things. I saw myself as, I woke up and I'm homeless. I have a dog with nowhere to go. I can't even tell. Now, homeless is really ridiculous, but really, I'm on the street at this point. Use my mind to think only, and I hate to admit this, I have a television at the foot of my bed just to divert me at times like this, and, I had some old television programs that were recorded there, and I turned those on just to stop my mind, to get a hold of this mental process, to use my mind only for that which I want to manifest. Do any of you have problems with that sometimes? Oh, you got it. Yeah. So what do? I call, well, you know Reverend Terry. So I call, we've been longtime friends. I call him and go, Terry, I don't want to screw this up. This is my spiritual experiment. How can I use my mind only to think about what I want? I live in a place I love. And Terry was so great. He said, Marilyn, don't worry about it. He said that every time my mind goes there, I'm homeless, I've got this floating home that I've got to do something with. And what am I going to do with all my stuff? My wardrobe was what I was worried about. Where am I going to put my wardrobe? He said every time that happens and I have to somehow bring my mind back, I'm stronger. It's stronger. It's like practicing that. Oh my God, the 2 a.m. And I wish it was only 2 a.m. No kidding. It was always in the back of my mind, well, Knipp, what are you going to do if this doesn't work this time? Here I'm in my 80s. And people said, well, you're an older woman. Write the press about being kicked out of your house, And I go, I don't think I want to go there. But I live in a house that I love. I live in a house that I love. So on and on. I mean, I took advantage of everything. I see my friend Cassandra here, and my friends were supporting me, and what could they do? Because they'd ask me what's going on, and I'd say, I live in a house I love. I think some people thought I was a little nuts. But Cassandra and her son, they invited me to some Buddhist things. And so I went with them a couple of times, and I chanted to Ganesh, and what am I going to do? Chanted to Ganesh. It was really fun. And who knows what works there. But it was about bringing my thoughts back to what I wanted to manifest. And then, meanwhile, I thought, well, I got to be prepared for this. Because we can't just say, I live in a house that I love and all this stuff goes on. We got to be prepared. So I did some investigation of what happens if I can't find a place for my floating home. What happens? The only thing I can do is destroy it. Oh my God, it's been my home for 32 years. The only thing I can do is destroy it. I did have people say, cut it loose. Let it go. But it'd be like cutting your car loose out here and not being, no. So I found out that it was going to cost me $40,000 to have it smashed. And I go, oh God, this is not fun. But more than anything, it was all the memories and stuff. So I was doing the necessary work, need to find out what the options are. And I put my name in through the ministry of prayer. Everything helps. Whatever comes chanting to Ganesh, the ministry of prayer at various places. And I have a friend who's really hooked up with the ministry of prayers in Eastern U.S. I mean, we had people all over the world talking about, I live in a place that I love, kind of thing. Whatever came along, I tried to do. So time went on. And, the worst part was people began to even be afraid to ask me what was happening. They go, well, we don't, but normally they would, hey, Marilyn, what's happening with the living situation? And I go, I live in a place that I love. People begin to think you're a little silly at this time, for sure. Getting closer and closer to the time. And at that time, I participate with BC guide dogs, and I love having a guide dog in my home and helping to train them, which is wonderful. So I had Willie for 3 months. He was, I don't know, probably 9 months to 12 months, and so I had Willie with me. And it was about the time where I needed to give him up, and I thought, well, I'm not going to think about this until Willie has to go. Okay, so give me time. Okay. Willie left, and I'm going, what am I going to do now? I live in a place that I love. Now, this is the part that it still amazes me. So it was about 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and I kept contacting marinas, and there was one marina that told me, I told them when I had to be out of there, and they said, okay, don't worry about it, Marilyn. We'll surely have a place for you. This one I could barely tolerate, but I could tolerate. So they stopped answering their phone when I called. So there was no reason. I'm going, oh, this is cool. I got to smash my house, and I don't have any place to go. And so the neat thing was that I had some friends. I had a friend that actually got me in her car, and she said, Marilyn, we're going to figure this out. Because I thought, well, maybe I'll smash the house, but I'll go live in a house, a mobile home park. I don't know, that seemed to go. So she took me to a mobile home park, and I know there's some really great mobile home parks, but listen, this one, it wasn't going to work. I live in a place I love. And so I think, golly, and I don't want to put down anybody, but no. So she took me to lunch, she got her paper out, and she said, okay, Marilyn, exactly how much money do you have? I'd really not paid a lot of attention because I just figure I'm going to die and leave whatever I have left to somebody else. And so she put that down and she said, what do you want? I said, I live in a place that I love. And by the end of that lunch, she said, okay, we're gonna find a place what a friend. We're gonna find a place that you love. I knew she was on my side. So the neat thing was, she lived at one of the golf courses in Tawasin Springs. It's new, it's alive, it's young, there are things going on. It's not one of those old ones. It was a young one. It was great. And so she said that there was one place for sale at this Tawasin Golf Club that I might like. So we went over there. I went over there. I couldn't imagine living on a golf course, but okay, I live in a place I love. So we went over there, and we couldn't get in, but it was on the ground floor. So, I was looking in the windows and all that kind of stuff, and I went, well, possible. So she told me I needed a realtor. Are any of you realtors here? My experience of realtors was not great because when I was being sued over my floating home, it was the realtors that were, I felt like I couldn't trust. And I thought, well, okay, for you, I will get a realtor. Now, listen to this. Things were falling into place. I happened during that week to call a woman that I had known, I hadn't heard from her for 3 years or so ago. And I knew that she owned a place in Tawasin that they rented out. And I thought, well, possibility here. So I called her. And no, they weren't renting that out anymore because I'm really, I'm getting down. I don't have that many months left. But I was telling her this story, and guess what? Her daughter-in-law is a realtor. And I really like this woman, so I said, okay, I'll give it a try. And she came, and my friends were going, now, Marilyn, you interview this woman, and you make sure that she knows what you want, And I loved her from the beginning. She was so great. She is so great. She goes, oh, Marilyn, we're going to fix you up. That's really cool. I don't know what you're going to do with the float home, but we're going to fix you up. So she made an appointment for me to see the one place at the golf club that I looked at, and it was 2 days away. And I went, okay, we'll go look. We'll go see inside if this feels the right place. I hope that you're with me on this story. But it was like all this was happening so quickly. I live in a place that I love. Okay, and so in the Ladner, where I live, the Ladner newspaper is a for sale sign that's only 3 blocks away on the river. Right there on the river. And so I called the realtor. I said, I could look at the place on Tawasin, but the one I really want to see is this one on the river. So she picked me up that day, and she picked another friend up with me, and we went first. We had two places we were going to see. The place that was right on the river. Now it was a condo, 70 units, and I'm going, oh my God. I'm used to living on the river by myself. How am I going to do this? Okay, but I'm going to go see what it is. I walked in. You walk in, and it was about the same size as my house. Walked in, looked in front of me, and the river was there, and I said, I want it. I want it. And there were two other condos for sale there as well. But I mean, it was really, really, really cool. So I said, I want it. She said, okay, we are going to submit a full price offer. And I went, full price? Are you joking? But she said there were people, and I saw these people, they were right behind us looking at the same place. So we submitted a full price offer, and I got the place. And, it's only like, I can walk between my old place, and my view is the river as well. Now, it's a ways away from the river, but and I have to learn to cooperate with a lot more people than I did before, but that's good for me, I understand. So I put an offer in, and it was accepted right away, but the people that were looking at it right behind me also put an offer in 2 days later. Guess who got it? I kid you not. That all happened in like days, and I'd had months to work on it. So I'm going home, and I passed the guy who owns the land where my float home was moored, and he goes, and I said, hey, I got a place I'm going to live. And this was, a high drama after so many months. I got a place, and I forgot. Yeah, I told you that we had chanted with a Buddhist, all these things, but didn't know where it was going. And so the person that owned the land now, he said, well, where is it? How is it? And blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, I only have one problem. I now own a float home with nowhere to go that I'm not even going to be living in. And he goes, well, I think I'd like to talk to you about that. And the long and the short of it is, within 2 days, he and his wife offered to buy the floating home because they wanted to be on the river, and they gave me free rent. I mean, it was just amazing, to watch all this fall into place. And they wanted a place that was right on the river, and they would still own the house up above. So it was a wonderful thing for them. And I now have a place to live on the river. And I kid you not, from my place now, I can see eagles in the nest right across from me. It's stuff like that really, I love this style of living. Now, the truth is, I have to learn to live with 70 other people. I think this is a good thing for me. No, it's really, really, really great. I try to mind my manners and all that kind of. Now, this is amazing because I have an older dog. Her name is Hillary. She's 15 years old. She's been with me for a long time, and there's no way that she's not going to live with me anymore. So I had to figure that part out. The place that I bought allows 2 dogs, not just one, So there were all these things, and it just amazed me. I'll tell you, when all of this happened, it was like, and I don't know if you've experienced the thing, it was like my heart was so big. I felt like I was part of a miracle. It was. And so the deal I made with the landlord back where the float home was, he bought the float home from me, and I could live there until I could move into the condo. And he was going to move me. Is that a deal or what? Now, when I look at that, it was like I had these months of trying to figure it out or to whatever, but I kept knowing I live in a place I love. I live in a place that it was hard sometimes to keep that going. And thank God Terry was only a phone call away, Reverend, whatever his last name is, Terry. You know, he'd go, Marilyn, it's part of the process. You know, it's just clearing the way for you. And so that I had doubts along the way, he's saying is just part of the process of really creating something in our lives that like our hearts want. And the reason I called Janet Law, who books speakers here, is I wanted, if any of you are in process of making a change in your life and you're not quite sure where you're going and you don't know the answer and you know that, you know, it's got to work somehow, it's like hanging in there. It's like hanging in there. That's what we get to do. And you know, it was going to be easy for me to make trash talk and the government made me do this and blah, blah, blah. No, we're not going there. Absolutely not going there. And so what I got to learn is something that, well, I'm still learning, is something that I had talked a lot about when I was a full-time minister. And I remember every Sunday we would say, I hope this is all going to tie together, that we are spirit, first and foremost, for having a human experience. And it was so easy for me to think about being human, first of all, having a spiritual experience. I think I'll go have a spiritual experience. But we miss the whole thing. It's like to know that we are spirit, having a human experience. And our job is to get out of the way so that spirit can work through us. You know, to get out of the way with, well, I don't know if I could, you know, I knew that I needed to have something that I loved. I kept saying, I love this place, wherever it is, but it was like to be open to what spirit would bring us. Recently, I was telling a friend of mine, actually, she lives on a float home as well, and her float home has been for sale for about 3 years. Hasn't sold. It's a big one. You know, it's in the, you know, millions of dollars thing. And so she asked me, how did I make this change from living in a place that I loved to go to a condo with all of those people? You know, the neat thing is I mostly don't even see the people. I mean, it's neat. I don't know whether it's neat or not, but I only see the people that I want to see, which is great. It's easy. A lot of you probably live in places like that. And I said, well, the only way I've found it is that to be very open. I live in a place that I love. Not saying, I live in a place that I love in this block. That's it. You know, it's got to be in this block. That's what she'd been doing. They found a place, and it's like, it's got to be here. And so part of what I learned is that I just need to affirm the feeling that I want during this change, the feeling rather than the specific. And somehow spirit takes care of the specifics. I mean, I could have never dreamed that. The truth is, I love where I live now. I dreamed of, I want to open the door and just go, I like living here. I like it. And the truth is, I can do that. I can open the door and go, whoa, look where I get to live. Because the neat thing, and what really got me, is I love living on the river. I like the ducks and the geese and all that kind of stuff. The people I can tolerate, but the wildlife, I love all that kind of stuff. And it fits me so well, where I couldn't have figured that out on my own. So by telling my story, I hope that if any of you are in the process of making a change and not knowing where to go and using spiritual principles, all I can say is it worked. And the neat thing, I got to watch the time because I can get carried away here. That the neat thing is that it was so good. And certainly that first week when it was absolutely just all falling together, one thing on top of the other. And and the person buying my float home, I didn't have to crunch it up and throw it away or anything. It was so wonderful. And I say this to describe it the best that I can, and I imagine you all have felt it too. It was like everything was so in tune, and I knew it in my heart. I had this heart. Oh, some of you, thank you. I didn't know how to, where you know that it's all working. And I went, wow, there it is. It's like life. It's all these things had to happen. I go, I got it. I think I'm free. This is it. And guess what I found, and this is not discouraging, is that other things crept in, like the government says I owe this much money, and I go, holy cow, what happened to, I'm spirit living in a human experience, but it's like I found that when I let myself even go back to thinking about the problems, then that heart connection, it faded away, and I go, oh, I loved it. I loved it when it was just, oh God, I'm part of the universe and I know it. And I got life figured out. It's like, that's it, yeah. But, then comes the next thing. But the neat thing is, what I can take from this is spiritual principles really work in ways I never could have figured out myself, or I don't think I could have figured out. I needed to be willing to let them go. I needed to be willing to move from a floating home to land. I needed to be willing, some of the money I had saved, I didn't even know how much was there because it didn't matter to me. I figured it'll go to my brother, it's okay. Oh yeah, and this is really great. People kept telling me at the beginning, you should go rent something, which is cool, But now I own a condo. Yes, I'm a condo. And I really, really love it. I do. I open the door and I go, I am so lucky to live here. So what I hope that you will, that I could even encourage anyone here to use what we talk about in unity, to think about what you want, not what you don't want. To know that God is right there, and you don't have that desire unless it's yours already. Desire, I love that word. Desire, it means of the Father. Isn't that neat? So our desires are of the Father right there for us to enjoy and to go ahead with. And sometimes in times like this, it really feels like, and this was such a unique experience for me, it felt like I was actually defying gravity, defying what normally would have gone on, because it was like miraculously worked out. And I know we're going to hear from Jay and Leora about defying gravity, right? Thank you.
Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. Too late for second guessing. Too late to go back to sleep. It's time to trust my instincts, close my eyes and leap. It's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye. I'm defying gravity, and you won't bring me down. I'm through with accepting limits, 'cause someone says they're so. Some things I cannot change, but till I try, I'll never know. Too long I've been afraid of losing love. I think I've lost. Well, if it's love, it comes at much too high a cost. I sooner buy defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye. I'm defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity, and you can't pull me down. Unlimited. Our future is unlimited. And I've just had a vision, almost like a prophecy. It may sound crazy, and my vision might be hazy, but I'll swear someday I'll be flying high, defying gravity. So if you think you'll find me out on the western sky, as someone told me lately, everyone deserves a chance to fly. And if I'm flying solo, at least I'm flying free. To those who ground me, take a message back from me. Tell them how I'm defying gravity. I'm flying high, defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye. I'm defying gravity, and nothing can pull me down. Nothing can pull me down. Unlimited. Our future is unlimited. Oh, hey, oh, oh.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, one more time. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Jay, as well. Thank you so much. And Lyra, thank you so much. Thank you. Beautiful. Oh my goodness. And thank you. And congratulations on your new home. Amazing. So much in the heart space, just open. To donate online, simply click on the donate link in your chat window, and you can give all major credit cards. You can also pay by credit card or debit card at the bookstore on your way out. So coming up here at Unity of Vancouver, if you are interested in becoming a part of the wonderful Unity family and want to become an actual member, we invite you to come to the sanctuary right after our service for a short information session led by Reverend Sandra Campbell and the lovely Janet Law. This session is a prerequisite for anyone voting at the AGM, seeking to be a prayer chaplain, or serving on the board of directors. As spring approaches, which I am very grateful for, we are confirming our 2026 landscaping and beautification team here at Unity. So volunteer gatherings will be scheduled in advance and typically take place in 2-hour blocks on Saturdays, of course, weather depending. If you feel called to support the care and beauty of our beautiful grounds, please fill out a sign-up sheet at the bookstore. If you participated last season, we kindly ask you to reconfirm your interest again, so we know you'd like to be contacted. Thank you for helping steward our sacred space. Join our A Course in Miracles group every Tuesday from 12:30 to 2:30 in the lower level. Learn alongside like-hearted individuals as you expand awareness. All are welcome, and your presence deeply enriches the circle. Our mastermind prayer group meets every Sunday before service at 10 a.m. downstairs in the meditation room. This group offers a powerful way to align with your goals through the practice of unity prayer. Reflective Roundtable also meets every Sunday downstairs at 2:20. Join us for a thoughtful, open, and structured conversation to explore the day's message. Share insights and listen deeply with a respectful, welcoming space. Also, tax receipts were sent out. If you have not received them by email, please come to our desk or our bookstore at the back, and we will get that sorted out for you. So today's affirmative prayer chaplains are myself, Kimberly Kyler, Shirley Thompson, and Margaret McLeod. And on Zoom, we have Marilyn Norrie. If you wouldn't mind standing, ladies, thank you. Please come to the front row when the music ends, and we'll be happy to give you a lovely prayer. Join us downstairs after the music for coffee, cookies, and conversation, or at a round table. And next Sunday, Reverend Hannah Lord joins us to talk about listening to the wisdom that lay within us. Watch our website for all the details and how to tune in online if you can't make it in person. And now we bring our gathering to a close. Please stand and let us together say our protection for prayer, or prayer for protection. All together now. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Please remain standing for singing of our peace song.
On earth, the peace that it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous bow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
If you're here on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. We send you our love and we look forward to seeing you next week. If you are on Zoom and want to pray confidentially with a chaplain in a private room, please accept your breakout invitation, which will pop up on your screen shortly. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.